All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. This is going to be a lunchtime video, and I'm going to try to fit all this into my lunchtime lesson here. So kind of go through this quick. This is going to be a video lesson dealing with the whole government shutdown and how it's affecting SNAP. And, as we can see, this is a clear piece of prophecy where aid and different things like that are being stripped from the people, especially women. And, as you can see, there's a lot of back and forth going on with the so-called Republicans and Democrats with this whole government shutdown. They're basically blaming the Democrats for not wanting to fund certain things, amenities, I believe. And it's a disagreement between the two. So there's this shutdown going on. And really, they're all a part of the same beast. I got it in Revelation 13. They're all a part of the same beast. They are in cahoots. It's all a show. The ultimate leaders, which are the elites, the banking families, these high elite banking families, they're in control of everything, man. Right? So I'm gonna read a little of this article and get some different pieces of information, go through the scriptures, just move through the spirit. I pray it's edifying. This is from Newsweek. Millions of Americans may not receive SNAP under new rules. Let's see. It says almost 5 million Americans may not receive any supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP, benefits in November under new rules issued by the Agricultural Department on Tuesday. The Trump administration had previously announced that it will halt all SNAP payments in November. Do this real fast. Officials also declined to use the government's contingency fund to cover federal food assistance during the shortfall, a decision overturned last week by two federal judges who ruled the government must issue either partial or full SNAP benefits. What to know? On Tuesday, Donald Trump suggested he would violate the court orders by halting payments until the shutdown was over. The White House quickly walked that back, saying it was complying with the order. Within a few hours of Trump's comments, the Agriculture Department issued new guidance for how to calculate SNAP and ordered states to recalculate benefits for current recipients. So this is all just a play and ploy to strip Jake from receiving these benefits. And it says to recalculate benefits to current recipients. Most likely Esau will still be receiving these different benefits and things like that, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do it that way or just completely get rid of the shit. I'm not but to in the spiritual side, when you look at both sides, there are families and women, children who do depend on benefits, the SNAP program, to survive. We know this through the scriptures and then throughout history. We have had a welfare system as well through our law, where we would not glean our vineyard, and there is a certain portion of time where we wouldn't collect from our fields, to allow the poor, the widow, the fatherless, and the ox to eat. That was our welfare system, and it was fresh, right? It was right off the vine. So it says the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, a left-leaning group, told the New York Times that the new policy could cut average benefits by about 61% this month and leave some recipients with nothing at all. Some households are not going to get any benefits under this, said Dorothy Rosenbaum, who oversees SNAP research for the group. So I'm not going to read anymore, but this article goes into a couple other things. How much it costs. Since the federal government spent 100.3 billion on SNAP in 2024, which is a hell of a lot of money, man. $100 billion. So let me just go ahead and move on. I did a little Google search just to see. I said, did Rome have a food assistance program? It says yes, ancient Rome had food assistance programs, most notably the Cura Anoa, which is grain dole for citizens, and the Alimenta, right? It says which subsidized poor and orphan children. So even in ancient Rome, there was a welfare system. When you look up those two systems, it gives you details on what they were mainly for and who they benefited, right? So right now we're witnessing the revised Roman Empire. So I'm gonna grab the scriptures real fast. This is Revelation 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. That beast is America, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So these 2 horns represents the Republican and the Democratic Party, right? You have this bipartisanship. In the ancient world, it was the plebeians and the patricians. So right now, it seems like the Republicans and the Democrats are at odds, and we can't agree with this, or no, we can't agree with that. However, they're all a part of the same beast. They're all a part of that same beast. And it says what? It says he had 2 horns like a lamb. A lamb is harmless. So what? They're coming to the people as if they're willing to help, willing to serve, willing to give, right? But it says what? And he spake as a dragon. This beast is starting to speak as a dragon now, and it's going to slowly escalate. You see, he's speaking as a dragon, but it's going to slowly escalate until the epitome when just a small crime, right? Because when you look up Draco, right, when there was a small crime, there was a punishment damn near of death. Small crimes were punished by extreme measures, and that's coming soon. So it says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, right, which was the Roman Empire, and caused it the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, the Roman Empire, whose deadly wound was healed. You see, so Rome, the Western Roman Empire fell, and ultimately all Rome fell. And then there was a time of the Dark Ages when Jake came into power, and then after Jake ruled roughly around like 1,000 years or so, then came the Renaissance period when Esau came back into power. He came back into power. He changed the images. He defaced the images. Which you look into the word Renaissance, I believe. When I can't really say what the word. Let me just look it up, make sure. But ultimately, that time period was when they came back into power. It's the revival of art and literature. This is the definition of Renaissance: the revival of art and literature under the influence of classical models in the 14th and 16th century. So it's the revival, right? This is Rome being revived in the essence of America, right? America comes in the spirit of ancient Rome. It also comes in the spirit of ancient Babylon, of ancient Sodom, ancient Egypt. That's why it's called Mystery Babylon the Great. Let's grab that. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 5. Upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. See? So this place is, that's why it says that Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? He had made the nations drink, and they are all mad. This place is filled with all the idols and the filthiness and the wickedness of all these different kingdoms and nations, all packed up in one kingdom. You see? So going back to Revelation 13 in verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So they came in that same spirit, that bipartisan system, right? We got this political party and that political party, and they are so-called at odds, or they butt heads with each other. In actuality, they're all being controlled and told what to do by the same people, the top elite, right? So let's grab Psalms 64, and I'm gonna start at the top. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Our number one enemy is Esau Edom. You can read that in Psalms 83. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So the secret counsel of the wicked is these international banking families, right? Esau has an agenda, and he wants to ultimately put a piece of technology within your body to own you forever. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, which is what? Perfect is the Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. You see? So ultimately, towards the end of this thing, those missiles are going to come. So it says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And this is their mindset. They have that evil matter is that MOTB, man, the mark of the beast. I'm going to just say what it is, which is the RFID CHIP. Don't take it. It says laying snares privily, right? They do everything in the dark. You know, at one point, the Illuminati was a hidden secret society. Now everybody knows about it. Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. You see, so they already got you, Jakes, figured out, man. They did these census. They know how many people is in this family, how many people is in that family, who got this much money, who got that much money. They know everything. So they know who's going to depend on the SNAP benefits and who's not. They know who's going to fold when that day comes, Revelation 3 and 10, you know. So they're just preparing to put you people in the straight. Verse 7, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly they shall be wounded. And right now, they're being shot at, you know. The prophets are the scriptures say that he shall consume him with the spirit of his mouth. Let me see. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You see? So the prophets is eating these niggas up, man. That's why they hate. That's what they send these Christians. They send a vocab. They try to send scoffers on the comment boards to discredit the truth, to devalue the words that we're preaching. However, they can't, because, you know, the scriptures, Acts 5 and 38, it may be that you will fight against the Most High. Refrain from these men, right? We're sent from the Heavenly Father to do this work, to teach, and to you know, we'll say, shake the hand that it may go into the gates of the noble. Isaiah 13. So they are being wounded. Verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall fall away. And what that boy Trump say, I think it was in one of those meetings. He said, you know what? You know why this is happening? It's because we want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of all this fucking money we spend on these people. He came out and said it, man. You know, we're spending too much money on these people, on that people. So that's why the government shut down. They're trying to cut back on this random funding, so-called. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm just putting it in my own words. This random funding of these different people, right? And they want to put more money in their military at the very end of the day. So let's grab one more, because they're gonna come with those smooth words. They're gonna tell you, oh yeah, it's gonna come, you're gonna get your benefits, and so and so and so and so, and then, hey, we're gonna see though. We're watching. That's why the scriptures say, I will sit upon the tower and watch, and wait until what he will say unto me. We're watching. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace. So we're gonna continue to watch. We're gonna continue to wait and see how this thing unfolds. And me personally, I can't wait, and I hope that these benefits these benefits is stripped from these women. Now to those families who are in need and who truly depend on it, hey, the Lord's gonna protect his people. He's gonna protect his elect. He's gonna feed his elect. So I wouldn't stress, I wouldn't worry about it. Put your faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Because they're going to continually tell you, oh yeah, the benefits are going to come back. Oh, no, they're not. The benefits are going to come back. Oh, no, they're not. And it's going to come to a point to where you're going to realize you're just not getting benefits. They're going to continue to tell, then you might get a couple dollars, you might get a couple hundred, but it's not going to be to that same amount and that same extent as before. So now you got a budget on your supplemental nutrition assistant program, right? But this is to those who trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Verse 22, cast thy burden upon the Lord Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So when you trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he's going to sustain you, man. Isaiah 65 says what? My servants shall eat and drink and be merry and rejoice. But those who aren't serving the Lord, they're gonna howl and weep for vexation of spirit. They're not gonna eat. They're not gonna drink. They're gonna be sorrowful. Why? Because when the time of liberty was given unto you to, follow the Lord and trust in him and build your relationship with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you chose to be a nigga, you chose to be a hoe, or you chose to live amongst these heathen and do as they do because it was more convenient. So now we're witnessing the fluctuation of who's serving the Lord and who's not. Who's going to, stand stiffly for the names of the Lord and who's not. Those who depend on, that's why the scriptures say, woe unto them who go down unto Egypt for help and have not, who have covered themselves with the covering, but not by his spirit. Because you trust in this system so much, you believe that this system is going to protect and give everything to you that you desire, but you're going to be sadly mistaken. But those who trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the scriptures say that what? Delight to do his will, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So I hope this was edifying and faith boosting. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor again to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.